Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Greeting of peace to all my family and friends and anyone that's currently watching my channel. I am Sami Higab, your host, and just now I'm going to react to a video that was created by The Deen Show, very popular presenter Eddie from The Deen Show, and this was re-uploaded by One Islam. I've actually put the credit for The Deen Show as well as all the links for One Islam channel. They've got about 2 million subscribers anyway, and you know, The Deen Show as well, a very popular YouTube channel. They've got a lot of followers. So if you're not already following The Deen Show or One Islam, I highly recommend subscribing to those channels as soon as possible, because they've got fantastic content. I've always benefited from their content anyway personally, so I highly recommend them. And I'm just gonna basically play this video and give my personal reaction to it, my personal opinion. But before I start, if you haven't watched any of my videos before, I always like to start by telling you just a little bit, very basically, in Islam, sorry about that. In Islam, we believe that we all came from the same father and mother, our father Adam, and we're all children of Adam. Therefore, we're all brothers and sisters in humanity. And if we believe in the one creator and we submit our will to that creator, then we are called Muslims. This is the message that was given to all of mankind since the beginning of creation. Since Adam, it was always Islam. That's what we believe as Muslims. And it's no different than Bani Israel, the children of Israel, descendant of Yaqub, who is also known as Israel. When they submitted their will, when Moses, came to them and told them about the religion of Islam, they submitted their will to Islam at the time of Moses, and they professed that they will not worship anyone else except the one true God, Allah, and Moses was the prophet of God. And it's exactly the same with every declaration of faith of every single prophet that Allah sent. So when Jesus came as well, he called his people, he was sent for the lost children of Israel to guide them back to the straight path. And he also told them the same message again, to worship no God except the one true God, Allah, and he is the messenger of God. And they made that same declaration, and it's no different than what Prophet Muhammad sallallahu, peace and blessings upon him, when he called the Arabs to Islam. Exactly the same thing. He told them to worship no other God except the one true God, and he's the prophet of God. Exactly the same declaration of faith. And this is also still in the same scriptures as today. You've got it in the Torah, you've got it in the Gospel of Jesus. We see the story of Gethsemane in Jesus, peace and blessings upon him, was in a garden of Gethsemane, according to in the Bible, the New Testament, and he put his head to the ground and he said, I bow myself in peace and total submission to you. I by my own will can do nothing. I by the will of God can heal the born blind, the leopard, raise the dead, and so on. So we see this again in the Bible, where Jesus professes to be a Muslim, because when you submit your will to the will of God, you are a Muslim. That's the meaning of the word Muslim. Is an Arabic word which means someone who submitted their will to the will of God. So I hope this is very clear for the very beginning, if this is new to you. And if you haven't read the Quran before, I highly recommend you get a copy of the Quran. You can go to any mosque, you pick up free Quran. And if you don't have access to one, you just leave a message to me or contact me on LinkedIn. I will send you a free Quran. In fact, I should have something. I've got quite a few of those lying around, so I can send you one in the post anywhere in the world. No problem at all. If you need a different language, I can always source a Quran in your specific language, and I can send it to you absolutely free of charge, no cost at all to you. So without any further ado, let's watch this video, and if there's any reaction, I'll make it during the video, inshallah. Okay, take care. Let me just adjust the screen so you can get a better view. It's a very short video anyway, about 5 minutes or so. So yeah, I'll mute the mic so it doesn't interfere.
It is true, it is a fact that Jews lived and flourished in the Muslim and Arab lands, and anybody who would like to could see for themselves go to Tunisia, Morocco, Iran, Egypt, and Yemen, and all the lands there. And prior to any human rights groups to protect, you can go, you can find the synagogues that were there till recent times, and some of them still exist in Iran. They are there. People are practicing the religion there, the Jewish religion. But till recently, till Zionism came about, Jews flourished as distinctly religious Jewish communities, and they weren't massacred. On the contrary, they went to these Arab and Muslim lands to escape persecution from the Crusades, from the Inquisition, and from many other trials and tribulations, and even World War II. The Arab and Muslim lands opened their hearts, opened their lands, and provided a safe haven and a gracious hospitality for the Jewish people. Again, clearly we have different religion, and yet we were accepted in these Muslim and Arab lands. We believe in one God, and we were accepted. We have different ways of serving God, but yet, we were respected, and even the Muslim religion requires of that, the Muslim people to provide protection and hospitality, and they did carry that out. That's clear. Nobody could refute this fact. Although, unfortunately, Zionism and the Zionists try constantly to vilify the Muslim people and try to recreate a scenario of as if we have some deep embedded religious conflict and hate between Jews and Muslims. And that is so deplorable, despicable, and really there's no words, it's a Nakba. And let me try to explain. Really, people have to understand, I threw in word Zionism, and what we're talking about here.
Yeah, so, what is it? Most people are ignorant now when you hear Zionism. What's the difference between Judaism and Zionism?
Yeah. With God's help, the Judaism is a religion. It is the covenant that Jewish people made some 3,000 years ago on Mount Sinai to be subservient to God and to follow the laws of the Torah, 613 commandments in the Torah. The Torah is full of laws that are replete. Some large segment of them have to do with keeping Sabbath, kosher, things that pertain from us as human beings to the Almighty. And then there is a large segment of the Torah that pertains to that one should not steal and one not kill and to be compassionate and so forth. There's many, many commandments. It's all part and parcel of the Torah. In fact, we can encompass it as one of the commands, one of the statements is that in Hebrew it says, Mahu racham afatu teiracham. Just as God is compassionate, you should be compassionate.
The same message is found in Islam. Therefore, we actually share the same belief. Allah sent various scriptures to mankind, and as Muslims we believe in all the scriptures that God sent down, including the Torah, the Psalms, the Gospel of Jesus, peace and blessings be upon him, and of course the Quran, the verbatim word of God. Again, we also believe in that scripture as Muslims, and we believe that Allah sent actually quite a lot of messages. In fact, he sent several prophets, not just the well-known ones or the ones that are mentioned in the Bible, in the Quran and Torah, but also he sent various prophets to all nations of the world. So Allah basically sent messages to make sure that everybody received the message before they get judged. So no one has really an excuse that they haven't been warned about the Day of Judgment. They haven't been told that there's only one God. In fact, Allah innately He gave us this natural inclination that will guide us to the true guidance. But only Allah guides those who seek guidance. So you have to seek guidance. You have to be searching for something. It's exactly the same thing. You have to thrive to, like, you want to start a business, for example. You have to be struggling to achieve that goal. If you aim at nothing, you hit nothing. So you have to want to become a doctor. You have to be wanting to become an engineer. You have to study for you to gain that knowledge. But if you just sit there and you just wish that you're rich and you wish you have a lot of money, or you wish to be a doctor but do nothing about it, it's very highly unlikely you would achieve it, unless the sky would fall down, start raining gold and silver for you, or it would take a real miracle for you to to achieve anything, just sleeping in bed all day and doing absolutely nothing. So you have to struggle. You have to go through some sort of a jihad. Jihad means struggle. Internal struggle, external struggle. You have to do some sort of a struggle to achieve your goals. Exactly the same. There is no compulsion in religion. However, you have to want to find the truth for you to get the truth. So if you are someone that's searching, I highly recommend that you look into Islam seriously, not taking your information from the mainstream media or someone else or an enemy of Islam. Go find out the truth for yourself. Don't even look at the Muslims as a source of guidance, but rather look at the text itself. And yeah, no one's perfect. I'm not perfect myself. You know, I've had so many faults. So many other people have so many faults. So you're not going to find a perfect human being unless you look at the prophets. But you know, we all strive to become better in our life, better in our faith, better in our you know, academically, physically, and so on. So we have to strive to become better version of ourselves. So anyway, I just wanted to add that little point there. So we have a lot in common because we are actually believing the same belief. I mean, the brother here, the Jewish brother, Dovis, I think, Dovis Weiss, he did mention that they took a covenant with God, exactly the same. You submit your will to the will of God, and you accept his laws and his guidance that he's given us, and that you are called a Muslim. So we, you know, the time of Moses, peace be upon him, those who professed that declaration and submitted their will to the will of Allah with Moses, Musa alayhi salam, they were called Muslims. And it wasn't just from Bani Israel, also Egyptians and other natives, they also accepted Islam at the time. And they also migrated, but predominantly the main group were the children of Israel. So yeah, let's continue. It's almost finished. There's about a couple of minutes left, but let's see what else is being said.
So basically, that is what Judaism is. Zionism is a mere 100-odd years. It was a movement of Jews who were estranged from the Torah, who detested the Torah and tried to transform this Judaism into Erzatz Judaism, a new Judaism, which is pure nationalism, material concept, having an army, Olympic team, and to be a nation proud amongst other nations, totally removing in its essence the concept of godliness, removing God from the equation. And they will allow religion, they say, or how far they do or don't, but they have hijacked the name Israel, they've hijacked the whole Judaism to legitimize and to put a facade of that it's kosher, that it's godly, what they're doing, when in truth it contradicts Judaism and it's totally forbidden. And I'll explain why with God's help.
Can you, before we go to break, so can you be can you be Jewish and an atheist?
Of course not. It's ridiculous. Judaism is belief in God. That's what it's all about, a covenant with God. It's not a nationalism. It's not some type of a country that you can be a Democrat, you can be a Marxist or something. Well, Zionism is exactly that. They were Marxists and they claim to be Democrats, and they proudly claim that you don't have to be a practicing Jew and to be a good Jew as long as you're supporting the state. So that in and of itself shows the heresy and the blasphemy in what this is. But there's much more to what we're talking about, the issue of Zionism, and I would really have to elaborate a little bit on what this is, on what Zionism, how in every facet it rebels against God, and it is rooted in heresy and in non-belief in God and in doing evil, basically.
Before we go to break, just one more thing. It really touched a lot of the hearts when people have heard you say that Jews and Muslims at one point, when they were living before this whole nationalistic, atheistic movement, Zionism, is it safe to say that's what it is, an atheistic, nationalistic movement?
Most certainly.
Yeah. So now, before that, they were actually babysitting each other's kids. So if you're leaving a kid with someone, your own, flesh and blood, your joy of your heart, this is not your enemy.
The most precious possession that a person has, it's what God gave a person.
And Jews and Muslims will leave their kids to
They lived in the same courtyards. We have many Jews who are alive today, to thank God, and they lived in the old courtyards in old Jerusalem.
To testify to this.
And they could testify this. And
So yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think this is about it. There's only like a few seconds before the video cuts off. But yeah, so one thing you have to be clear: we have to stamp out this whole concept of nationalism, racism. It's really disgusting that until today, in the year 2023, we still have racists among us. We still have these fascist apartheid states, terrorist states that are forming, and the Western countries are supporting racism. They're promoting racism, promoting Islamophobia, anti-Semitic rhetorics. Rishi Sunak and Keir Starmer are the worst examples, and of course, all the other Western leaders. Unfortunately, it is very sad. They are still pro-racist, white supremacist. They're still promoting Nazism, Zionism, which is a form of fascist ideology, racist ideology. And like I said in the beginning of the video, we all originated from Adam. We came from the same father and mother, so we're all brothers and sisters, irrespective of our race, creed, gender. It doesn't matter. We're all equal. In fact, in the Quran, it tells us very clearly. Allah says that we created you from a single pair of male and female and made you into nations of tribes so you can recognize each other. Very, the best of you is the best in conduct, the best that reflects to God, the best in benefit. So our purpose here on this world is to serve Allah by serving others. Service to many leads to greatness. So we value each other, and together everyone achieves more. We're supposed to be looking for people that are less fortunate and trying to help them come up. Now, to be completely honest and to give credit, in the Jewish community, they are united predominantly. I mean, I know you've got Orthodox Jews, you've got Zionists, and you've got all these types of different Jews. However, in general, they are united. Whenever I meet any Jews, or I live amongst in Jewish communities, I always find them, they're always trying to cooperate together to establish institutions or organizations and support one another as a community. However, this is not found within the Arab communities or predominantly Muslim communities. They are disunited. I've lived amongst many countries. I have gone and traveled in different countries, and unfortunately, it's very, very rare that you find a group of Muslims coming together, united, cooperating to do something beneficial. Only a few times that you see this, but the vast majority of times, either they try to find out if there's a new face, they try to find out who that person is, and then they try to take advantage of that person. If they can't take advantage or they can't benefit in some way, they kind of abandon that person. I felt that I felt disowned in some communities, including the Isle of Man. It's the worst of the communities that I've been with. Maybe in Scotland they're more united than other places I've been, and also in England, in parts of England you find Muslims coming together now. But yeah, the Isle of Man is probably the worst example of disunity. And may Allah guide them, and may Allah unite the Ummah in the Isle of Man, and unite the Ummah in general all over the world. And also in the Middle East, you find them disunited, maybe because there's a lot of censoring of the freedom of speech and so on. So you find the government's always stamping down on any forms of gatherings, whether it's in mosques or outside. People just collaborating, trying to organize themselves into a structure so they can serve the community or something like that. The government gets a bit suspicious and they think it's some sort of a political movement and it's a threat to the status quo or the establishment, and they stamp down on these individuals, and they seem to just paintbrush everyone as they're some sort of a terrorist group or something like that if you try to cooperate to do something beneficial. So there's always that kind of silencing and stamping down any sort of cooperation. So this is the unfortunate state, and I believe there is an opportunity here that if Muslims in particular, and I'm talking to my brothers and sisters now, if they start to think about other people, they put other people before themselves. They think, how could I become more beneficial to society, rather than, oh, I need this from the world, or I need to get this from the world. If they start putting other people's problems first, then all their problems will be taken care of, because Allah will sort out all their issues. If they focus on other people, they think, okay, I need to do work so I can actually, not for myself, but first and foremost, so I can help someone that's less fortunate. They put that as number one priority. I'm not working so I can pay the bill. Working first priority. First thing I want to do is I want to serve my community. I want to help solve a problem for someone else. Secondary, I need to do this because I need to also sustain myself. If they put other people's priority as number one and then put yours second priority, you will see that your status and your issues will be very negligible, because Allah will help you. Allah will increase your risk. He will increase your provision. Whoever's God conscious and God aware, Allah will He will make an way for, or an opening for him, and providing sustenance and provisions from places where he least expect it. So if you think your provisions coming from your job, your 9 to 5 job, or a particular business you're setting up, suddenly He will open so many other opportunities for you. You see provisions coming to you from all directions. You will see that a lot of your problems are just taken care of themselves. Just trust me on that, because I've gone through this myself. I've gone through so many challenges, so many stressful situations, so many knockdowns and so on. But always I try to reflect back on the mistakes that maybe I've done. Maybe that I've done something wrong. Maybe Allah's trying to teach me a lesson or something. So I took these expensive lessons. I took the hits and I just kept going up. Just picking myself up again and trying it again, and trying to improve myself in all aspects of life. And this is why I always see, alhamdulillah, miracles. It's not about luck. It's about the more you get hit, the more you fail in life, the more you get knocked down, the stronger you become. The more expensive lessons you get in your life, the better you become. You become much sharper. You become more powerful. You become more thicker skin, so you can, kind of ignore the naysayers and negative ideas and so on, and you become stronger. You more conviction in your life and so on. And you can see a lot through any sort of nonsense that other people, like lies and falsehood and so on. You don't fall for the tricks and traps by Satan and the mainstream media. You kind of see through it. You can be able to judge from the truthful and the falsehood. Very quickly you'll be able to see it. You have a better judge of character as well. So it makes you a better person. Just believe you me, I've been through it. And a lot of successful people have been through it. Not just the materialistically successful, because a lot of the materialistically successful are far away from God. So I'm telling you, someone that's successful doesn't have to be materialistically successful. Yes, he will have some material success. You have some, academic success. You have some physical success, but he doesn't have to be the best in everything. He can be balanced, and he can be very happy. So the most important thing is your contentment inside here, your conviction, your contentment. You're happy inside, not from the outside. Because a lot of the people that I know that are super rich, they are very depressed. They're very stressed about losing their money. But for me, I've lost a fortune. I've lost more than people earn in a whole lifetime in just a matter of weeks. But I said, alhamdulillah, this is a test from Allah. Allah gave me and He took away. Alhamdulillah. And as long as I'm alive, I can still work, I can still do business, I can do different things, I can build myself up again. That's the game of life. And this isn't the ultimate life. At the end of the day, we're here as a test. So this is like a test run. The real life is in the akhirah, the afterlife. So we should be thriving for the afterlife, not this life, not trying to build our palace and kingdom on earth. We should be trying to build our palace and kingdom in the afterlife, the next life. That's our ultimate destination. And I was talking to some brothers yesterday. We was in a charity dinner. I personally think, this is just my personal opinion, that we shouldn't be just thinking about, okay, we're praying or we're doing our obligations because we fear going to hellfire, or okay, we love Allah and everything, we want to go to Jannah. But we should be doing it because that's what Allah created us to do. This is our purpose in life. Our purpose in life is to serve Allah. Allah told us in the Quran, we created the jinn kind and mankind. These beings that have free will, us and the jinns, we have free will to choose or to accept or refuse to submit to Allah. But He created us for one purpose, and that's to worship Allah, to worship Him. So He created us. We are servants. We are servants of God, servants of Allah. So we are just only trying to fulfill our purpose. We only have to do our best. No one's perfect. We don't have to be 100% perfect and everything like that. But we should try. We should always constantly try to become better human beings, better, more beneficial individuals in society. And through that, through our benefit, through our service that we provide while we're on earth here, that is also a form of worship. So when we go to the gym, that could be a form of worship. It comes down to our intention. What's our intention in life? Why are we going to the gym? Why are we studying? We're studying because it's a form of worship, because that's the first word that came down. The first of the revelation, the first word that came down was read, recite, proclaim, recite, teach, share knowledge, gain knowledge and share knowledge. That's one of the first words that came down. The first word, in fact, came down, Iqra. So yeah, that's something just we have to remind ourselves with. And even I enjoy listening to things. Even if I have the same knowledge, I like to hear it again and again. It's a reminder. Reminders are always good for us. So I always try to listen to as many Islamic talks and lectures. And yeah, we need that. We need to constantly come together with positive people and focus on positive things. Look at other people. How can I become more beneficial to others? Yeah, and unfortunately, because I have this kind of heart, a lot of people try to take advantage of me, and I can see it. Sometimes I allow it. I allow people to benefit or to like that. But at the same time, I can see it that this person isn't a genuine human being, because he's just trying to take. And Muslims shouldn't be takers. Muslims should be givers. We should be giving. We should be always focused. Okay, I can serve you in this way, and I don't necessarily want you to serve me or to benefit me, but I want you to also think, how can you serve your other fellow human being? You should be thinking that. How can I pay it forward? Don't necessarily reciprocate. I'm not looking for someone to reciprocate or give me thanks. If I try to help someone, I don't expect any gratitude from them, because I'm just fulfilling my obligation. However, I would like that individual to also think how he can benefit others. And I was having a conversation with one brother. I'm just giving you an example. And he was asking me, and he was telling me about he's got some sort of financial issue and financial problem, and the guy's driving a very expensive car. And I was very surprised. This guy is saying that he's struggling financially, and he's bought a brand new car, and he's like living a luxurious lifestyle. But then I was trying to figure out, how could I serve him? What's his problem that he has, his financial problem, whatever. And I was trying to go through different things like that. And then I realized that he's got a certain skill that there's another brother who's got a business. So I said to him, your set of skills can benefit this other brother. He's got this business. He's not going to be able to pay you as much. But if you are looking for a job and you're looking for this second income, perhaps you can go to him and you can help him out in his business, and perhaps you guys can cooperate together. And he says, no, I don't want that. I want X amount of money, and I want this, and I want that, and I need to do this. And I said, just start somewhere. If you're doing absolutely nothing right now, or you're not getting and you've got some spare time and you need this kind of money, why not just work for this brother or cooperate with him, join his business and help him out? And he just completely said, no, I want X amount because I need to maintain my lifestyle. And he was always about him. And it really upset me, because unfortunately a lot of Muslims and people in the community, they're like that. They're always thinking about themselves. How can they benefit from others? What can others do for them, but not what they can do for others? They always complain, but they always expect people to serve them, as if Allah created them to be the king and everybody to become their servants. Allah did not say that. Allah said that we are servants to the Creator, not to others, but we serve in others that are less fortunate than us. We should be humble, and that's how we raise up in status. So that's a message. This is just a message for my Muslim brothers and sisters, because I feel they need this kind of advice, because they're the ones who are falling behind in this situation. Now, with regards to Zionism, it's very clear. You research about it, how it was founded. It was founded based on fascism. This whole concept of nationalism, this was, promoted in the Muslim world through colonialist invaders like the British, French, Italians. When they went into the Muslim countries, they just did basically that. They promoted and planted the seeds of nationalism and racism. And it makes me sad. It breaks my heart when I get approached by Arabs and they say we need to have an Arab group or an Arab this or that. I said, no, forget about this whole concept of just a group for just particular race. We should be united as humans because we're all brothers and sisters. And I think this is what's missing. And the world is really promoting racism. It's always promoting segregation. The media is promoting that as well. And you see it, the way they treat refugees from Europe and the refugees from other parts of the world. If you are darker skin, you're inferior. And if you are lighter skin, if you've got blonde hair and blue eyes, then you are a superior race. And this is unfortunately the state of Israel. Is exactly that. It's the very embedment of racism, where they focus on they are a superior race and every other race is inferior. And now they're trying to create this genocide and ethnic cleansing of the Arabs and the Palestinians. And if they do succeed, which they're not going to succeed, inshallah, God willing, they'll be defeated and humiliated on the battlefield. But if they do succeed, the next stop is going to be Egypt. They're going to completely massacre the Egyptians. Their next target is to take over Egypt and kill Egypt. Unfortunately, the government in Egypt are not aware of this. They're in their slumber still. They're not aware of this major threat that's coming their way. And they think that Israel would comply to all the agreements and they would never break the peace treaty, just like they did in 1967, where Israel took preemptive strike on Egypt while Egypt was fast asleep in their slumber, thinking, no way, absolutely no way, Israel would attack us. The US guarantees it. And since when did the US ever keep their promise? Since when does Israel ever keep its promise or respect human rights or respect any agreements? They break all laws. They have no bounds. They're above the law when it comes to that. They don't care because they have a green light from the US, from the West. Do whatever you want, but do it quickly. Kill as many people as you can, but just don't show it to us. Try to censor the news and try to fabricate stuff and that kind of stuff. So it's really sad what's going on in the world, but we really need to change. We need to expose these criminals. We need to speak up about it, and it really makes me upset when many people contact me and tell me, don't speak too much about the evil people. Yes, we know they're bad people, whatever, but as long as you feel it in your heart, then don't speak about it, because you could end up being killed, or you could get harmed and so on. And I tell them, who cares? I don't care. Me personally, I don't care. I prefer to die brave than to die as a coward in my bed. And he said, one person, Muslim, I'm gonna say, who said that basically it's better to die in your bed. At least you have a few more years of life. And I said, well, this life ain't worth living if you don't have freedom. What's the point in living and dying in your old bed when you're in bondage? Why not even just for that chance of freedom? Just like William Wallace said, what's the point of just dying in your bed many years from now for just that? Why not trade all this until that for just one chance of coming back to this place again and telling our enemies that you may take our lives but you can't take our freedom. So that's what it's all about. But unfortunately, a lot of people are cowards, and it's because they grew up and they've been brought up in these countries where they were being oppressed so much, and their parents and so on, they taught them you just have to live like an ant so you can taste some sugar. In Arabic in Egypt they always say "Aish namla takul sukkar," live like an ant and you will eat some sugar. So they taught that to the children from a very young age. So all the children, they grow up, when they become adults, they grow up to become cowards, and and silent and afraid. Even if they have freedom of speech, they don't exercise their freedom of speech because they always have this phobia that someone's gonna, kill them or arrest them or, that kind of stuff. And it doesn't exist. They forget they moved to the West and they still think they have this, it's really funny because I had someone that actually told me that if I go to Egypt, I'll get arrested, for example, because I went to a protest in London against Israel because it's, for Palestine, and I said, what's Egypt got to do with London? Why would Egypt want to arrest people that in London for protesting against Israel? It doesn't make sense. But their fear that they have in their mind, that they think somehow, we are still governed by the same laws and oppression that exists in Egypt, for example, where they silence people. And it might not even be the case. But fear stands for false evidence appearing real. It's a phobia that they have because that's what they've been brought up on, and they still have that fear. They go on a protest. It's a crime. If you speak up for injustice, it's a crime. So it's ridiculous. I know it's moving that way in the West as well. I mean, with France and so on, if you say free Palestine or something, it's supposed to be some sort of an anti-Semitic rhetoric. Complete, absolute nonsense. And Arabs are a Semitic group. How can they be anti-Semitic? It's like saying that black man is racist against black people. It just doesn't happen. How could it be? He'd be racist against his own kind. It doesn't make sense, does it? But unfortunately, a lot of people, especially the old generation, they have this fear and they need to snap out of it. It doesn't exist. And even if it did exist, it's important that you speak your mind. You speak what you feel, what you believe in. And your voice needs to be heard. You need to show that enough is enough. There's a red line. Do not cross that red line. You can't just allow people to push you around. You can't be a pushover. And you can't bring up your children as cowards because they could just live and survive as cowards. Just parents need to change, the old generation need to change, and the young people need to know the truth for themselves. They need to seek the truth. They need to search for the truth. If they're going to depend on the people that their ancestors or whatever, that unfortunately might have been misguided. I can understand that not everyone has that luxury of having Muslim parents, for example, or coming from an Islamic background or being taught Islam at a very young age. Some people, unfortunately, it's a test from Allah. We start our life differently. Some people might not have had that luxury. They would have struggled a little bit more, but the reward is far greater because of their struggle that they've put in, the investments they put in. So it's a different stage. They didn't have that luxury of just being born and learning about Islam from childhood and being brought up according to Islam. They would have gone through a real hardship and struggle. It's a big test from Allah, to really hold on to your faith and deen, especially if revert. You didn't have that support structure in place. It's a struggle. I can understand. I can relate to it in so many ways. Anyway, I went a bit too far, too long, and I just wanted to keep it brief, but I like to always add a little bit of value here and there. I like to give my opinion on different things and try to shed some light because I don't know who's listening to the video, and I like to make sure that I give as much information as possible to start people off on their search. If you are someone that's sincere and you're looking to find out the truth about what's going on in the world, what's going on in the conflict in Palestine, what's our real purpose in life and so on, just search it, just go on a search for yourself. If you're someone that's not interested in finding out the truth, then I wish you the best. There is no compulsion in religion, there's no compulsion in the way of life. You have every right to live your life the way you believe it, but don't push your way of life or your narrative on others. You're not going around the world trying to civilize other people. Your life, just practice your life the way you want it behind closed doors. If you want to drink, take drugs, do whatever, as long as it's something legal and you know it's not breaking the law, do it behind closed doors. But don't push it on other people. So don't send me messages and saying, "Oh, we don't like religion," or "Religion is a way that controls people," whatever. Fine, you don't like religion, good for you. You don't want to believe in God, good for you. But don't go and tell me, because I've done my research, just like many of the fine brothers doing dawah and many of the Muslims around the world. They've done their research. They're convinced of what their truth is. They've discovered the truth and they're convinced of their way of life. It's best for them. So you don't have any right to tell people what to eat, how to live, if they should drink or not drink or smoke, whatever. I don't smoke, but I don't, and I completely am against people that smoke because it's haram. So there are Muslims that obviously do shisha, and even girls that do shisha, Muslim sisters with hijab and niqab, and they smoke shisha, and it's haram. It's actually haram more than cigarettes. It's haram more than even alcohol, because not only you're harming yourself, you're harming others. And it's more harmful when you smoke shisha or you smoke cigarettes. It's more harmful. So you're correct. You're actually committing a very, very serious, major sin in Islam if you're smoking shisha or cigarettes. Far more than I can go, far more than even drinking alcohol. Because drinking alcohol, you're only harming yourself. But you smoke, you do shisha, you're harming yourself and harming others. And the harm that you do for others is a very big sin. Just like there's a great reward for the benefit that you do for others. When you pray, you're benefiting yourself. But when you do charity, when you help someone out, or you teach, you're now benefiting society. It has a great benefit on the community. That also has a great reward. So just try to understand that. What you do for others and how you benefit society as a whole is far more lucrative, so far more beneficial for you in the akhirah than what you also do for yourself. Just you do for yourself, you do it between you and Allah. It's a relationship between you and Allah. No one knows it. No one knows if you're praying or you're not praying. Of course, you have to pray, you have to fast, you have to do all these religious obligations. These are the foundations in Islam. However, that's just between you and Allah. And if you make a sin, Allah will forgive you. But if you harm other people, that's serious. You damage someone else's life or you harm someone in some way, that is far more serious, because now you're in a situation where you have to get acceptance and forgiveness from that individual that you've harmed, and then turn to Allah for forgiveness as well. Of course, you do your best, and some people might not want to forgive, and you know, that's the situation. And I'm not an Islamic scholar to give you some advice, but I'm just telling you from my little research that I've done in my life on the different aspects. I hope I've benefited you, inshallah, God willing. And I wish you all peace. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Take care for now. Bye bye.